Hey guys, it's Melanie. Happy Friday. Welcome back to Ye Olde Weekly Beauty Chit Chat, the video that I like to upload most Fridays here on my channel, where I just share all of the fun, frivolous, completely unnecessary beauty products that I was really loving or reaching for the most over the course of the past week. I have a fun roundup of products to share with you guys today. There's a couple of new things in here which are kind of fun. But before we get into it, I hope you guys had a great week. It's been an interesting week for us here where I live. I'm in Oregon and I'm in the Portland metro area, and we got slammed with a little bit of a snow event last weekend. The snow was actually fine, but it was accompanied by massive amounts of wind, and then this usually happens for us as well when we get snow. It's followed by freezing rain oftentimes, and our temperatures just dropped down into the teens, and everything was just a solid layer of ice for us for most of this week. Stella did not have school for the majority of this past week, so she got a little bit of an extended weekend from the long weekend she already had because of the holiday on Monday. It's a real poop show around here, honestly. The area where I live, we have a lot of really big, old growth trees, a lot of firs, and those don't actually have super deep root systems. And so with the amount of wind and then the freezing temperatures, and then, the rain and branches being really heavy, it was a total poop show, you guys. There are trees on houses all over the place. There are people who have burst pipes. We're built for rain. We do rain very well here in Oregon, but when the weather turns super cold, people we don't know how to deal with it. We don't have snow plows. That's not a thing for us here. There's no need to invest in that because this only happens maybe once a year, and not even every single year. Sometimes we go for 2-3 years without seeing a single snowflake in the area. So there's just it doesn't make sense for us to invest in that kind of stuff. But it definitely made me feel for those of you that live in those super heavy snow prone areas. It is definitely, it does suck to be stuck at home. And because we had so much ice here, we were basically stuck at home all week. But things are thawing out, and I'm looking forward to probably another lazy weekend. This is one of the first weekends that we don't have any soccer stuff. We didn't have soccer stuff last weekend because it got canceled. And then this weekend, we just have a little bit of a break before the spring season starts next week already. So we're just gonna enjoy a little bit more downtime before it comes to an end, and that's what we're doing. So let me know what your plans are in the comments down below. Hopefully you have something fun planned for yourself. But let's go ahead and get into the faves. As always, I will list and link everything in the description box down below if you want to know where to purchase these things, read up about ingredient decks, other people's reviews. She's a plethora of information, so be sure to check that out. And without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, first of all, in the perfume department, I recently got some new Pacifica perfumes to be able to share with you guys. And I wanted to start the year out doing fragrance reviews again, like I have been doing, just because I really enjoy doing those. But I wanted to really focus on some brands that are a little bit more affordable to start the year out with. There's some other high-end fragrances that I actually have in my cart, both at Sephora and at Ulta, just the travel sizes. So I'll be reviewing some higher-end fragrances coming up here as well. But I know there's a lot of you out there that don't necessarily want to blow a lot of money on personal fragrance, and I really found the Pacifica perfume line to be a pretty unique range of fragrances. There's quite a difference between all of the different scents. They don't all smell basically the same, or a different version of the same fragrance, if that makes sense. They're all quite unique. So I picked up a few more of the, I think it's called their Dream Moon collection. And I'm super excited to share those with you. So the first one that I reviewed this week is Sunrise Moon. These retail for 22 bucks, you guys, and they're available at a number of different retailers. You can even find these at your local Target. My Ulta store still carries them in store, but I'm not seeing them online at Ulta right now, so I don't know if they're just out of stock or what's happening. They do have a couple of nice samplers of the different Pacifica fragrances that are available, so I'll link that down below if you're not sure which one of these you would really enjoy. But you guys, the price point for the quality is incredible with these, and I would highly recommend checking them out. Even if you're not necessarily looking for an affordable perfume, these have great projection, they have great longevity. They're just fabulous. So the two that I was wearing the most this week were the Sunrise Moon, which I reviewed, and then also the Dream Moon. I haven't had a chance to review this one yet, so I don't want to like get into it too much. The review of this one will probably go up next week, but I actually have yet to put on fragrance today, so let's put on the Dream Moon. And the first thing I'm going to tell you is that, you guys, it's another Baccarat Rouge 540 dupe. And you know what? I think this one actually smells more so like the Ariana Grande Cloud, which to me is also a dupe of Baccarat Rouge 540, but it's a slightly sweeter dupe, right? This smells almost exactly like the Cloud. Now, I don't think Cloud is by Ariana Grande is an overly expensive fragrance. I have the largest size, which I think is their like 3.4 ounce size. And I think that retails for $65, which I think is still, I still think that's a decent price point for a massive bottle of perfume like that. But that being said, this is less expensive and it smells just like it. And honestly, the wear on this one, so similar to the Ariana Grande. So these are fantastic, and if you're in the market, these are really worth checking out. So yeah, anyway, I'll formally review the Dream Moon next week, but if you're looking for another Baccarat Rouge 540 dupe, you gotta check that one out. All right, let's do makeup next, because why not? Listen, I know you guys are tired of hearing about these Charlotte Tilbury Eyes to Mesmerize eyeshadow pots, these cream eyeshadows. But I finally started pulling out the champagne shade. So, because I was using the Oyster Pearl, and for weeks I was sharing that in this Friday video. But I really wasn't reaching for the champagne, so I decided to bust it out. It is a really beautiful champagne. You know what it kind of reminded me of? And I actually had this sitting in here. Did I? Or did I put it away? Nope, here it is. It reminded me so much of Stila Kitten, like the same kind of champagne-y glow. I know they look like different colors, but like when they're on my lid, they look exactly the same. So texture is obviously going to be a little bit different. This is a powder and this is a cream that dries down to a powder. But I just really love this shade. Now, on its own, I think it looks, it doesn't give my eyes enough definition, really. So I have it on pretty much all over my lid. And I decided to take this Laura Geller Baked Color Intense Shadow Duo that I've had in my collection for quite some time. I don't have a lot of Laura Geller eyeshadows. I obviously love her Baked Powder Foundation, but the eyeshadows I'm not, you know, necessarily the biggest fan of. But this particular duo here of Candy and Fig, which I don't think is available anymore, just paired so well with that champagne. So what I did is I put this shade here, which I'm guessing would be considered the candy shade. I put that over the top of like the beginning part of my lid here, and then on the outer corner I took a little bit of what I'm assuming is the Fig, this like plummy shade over here. I put that on a crease brush and just kind of blended it into the outer part of my eye here, and I really like the way this looks. And I've been doing that for most of this week, but I've also been pulling out my Natasha Denona Glam palette as well and incorporating some of these other matte shades in the crease here. So for example, this, it's just called Crease, this crease shade here. I've been blending that a little bit above everything to kind of blend everything together. And then I've been using Lash Line, great name for this one. I've been using Lash Line along my lash line instead of my usual kind of more harsh, I guess, black powder shadow that I tend to put on there. So slightly softer look, but I really like this eye look that I've been sporting. You'll probably see it for most of next week as well. When I find an eye look that I think makes my green eyes really pop, I just kind of tend to do that. By the way, I do think that if weather permitting, I might just head down to my local Sephora to finally pick up the, I want the chocolate bronze, I think it's called, and I also want the Pillow Talk shade. I love these, and I'm just reaching for them so much. In terms of like a cream shadow product, like this one here is just so good. These are so good, you guys. So if you've ever been curious about them, and you're wondering if they're worth, I do think they're worth splurging on. I really do. They definitely dry down. I do use them with a primer, but I use a primer every day, regardless of whether I wear makeup or not around my eyes, just because my eyes get so oily. But yeah, they dry down and they're great with my oily lids with a primer. So there's that caveat. All right. Another makeup product that I was using quite a bit this week is I kind of switched over from the Milk Pore Eclipse line that I was using pretty heavily. I decided to go ahead and switch back to the Youthforia primer instead of the Milk Makeup Pore Eclipse, just because I purchased this and I actually really do like it, and I think it's a great primer for oily skin. I just think that I like the Milk Makeup a little bit more. But I don't dislike this, so I want to use it. I don't just want to like shove it to the back of the drawer here and forget about it, because I do actually enjoy the product. But I think as far as repurchasing for me in the future, it's gonna be the Milk. But this is also a really lovely primer, and if you have never tried this one and you have oily skin, I can tell you that it does work. I will say it really does a decent job of like blurring the look of my pores. But I think the thing that this particular primer does best for me is that it helps to extend the wear of my makeup. So I don't feel like I have to blot my oily skin so early in the day when I have a primer like this. I've really become a big fan of primers. For the longest time, I really wasn't using a primer. I was just using, you know, my usual SPF, and saying that acted like a primer. But that being said, I do think that an actual makeup primer does make things last significantly longer for me. So, by the way, just finished another bottle of my beloved SPF. Don't worry, I have a backup. I just need to get it out. It's the Polish Trace Super Light Daily Wrinkle Defense SPF 30. Another shout out for her because I love it. It's so good. It's just the best SPF ever. All right. How long has it been since I have talked about this eye cream? It's been a little while because I was trying really hard to not just exclusively use this. I used it for the longest time. It's the Strivectin Hyaluronic Tripeptide Gel Cream for Eyes. Do you guys remember this phase for me? Man, I loved this, and I still love it. So here's the thing. Right now I'm using the Dermatology HPR eye cream, but that is a retinate eye cream, so I'm using that at night. I was also using it quite frequently during the day, but I decided that because of just the time of year we're in January, it's pretty dry in our house. I've got some humidifiers going, but the humidity is pretty low in our house. Like, we have the heat not necessarily cranked, but it's going most of the day, and that really does suck the moisture right out of your skin. So I've still been using the Dermatology at night, but in the morning when I want like a really hydrated look to my under eyes, I've been reaching for this again. I had a backup of it. It's a really interesting formulation because it is swirls of like a gel and then more of like a cream type under eye product, if you will. So I just tap my middle finger in there and then tap that underneath my eyes. This is so hydrating, you guys. My skin almost immediately just drinks this up. So sometimes I will even do like 2 layers of it. I don't think that I have to do that, but I love the way it feels when it's going on. And it makes my under eyes look so soft and it just looks healthier. It makes me look less tired. It makes that skin look a little less dry. I just love this product. Now, I think I actually bought this one from Costco. Costco had a, like the large size as well as like a mini travel size. I actually busted out the mini travel size and used that and finished it a long time ago, but kept this one around. And then I just was like, I gotta go back to it. I love it. I've got other eye creams that I also enjoy in the bathroom, but this one here still has my heart, you guys. I think this might still be available at Costco. Costco will probably have the best deal on it, but you can find this particular eye cream at a few different retailers. So I'll see where I can link it down below at the best possible price, but that's definitely worth it for me, you guys. I love this one. Yeah, Strivectin, they really got me with this one for sure. Also, I had a few like minor breakouts around my jawline here. They were just mostly like little whiteheads that were starting to form. I think honestly, I just wasn't doing the best job, maybe like removing my makeup in this area. I had a few nights where I was being a little bit more lazy with my skincare. You know, I was washing my face, but honestly, at night, like I usually take it all the way down my neck because I do use SPF on my neck every single day and I want to get that off. And I also want to do my skincare routine on my neck in the evening as well. But it was cold and I just didn't feel like doing the whole thing. So I noticed right away that when I wasn't paying attention to it, like I started getting some little whiteheads and stuff right along this area. Now, I finished my recent bottle of my Derma-E, it's like the sulfur spot treatment. I love that stuff. Now, I do have a backup of it because I bought one as soon as I finished it, but I also had this in my skincare backup stash. It's the Dermalogica Clear Start Breakout Clearing Booster. Now, the only thing I don't like about this is the way that you get the product out. So it comes in a little, like it looks like it would be like a squeeze tube or something, right? But it's not. Like, it's really hard plastic. But you get the product out by pushing on this soft part here on the bottom. But they also put like the expiration date. So it's kind of like, I've got like little black, the ink basically is coming off from the little expiration date stamp here. But anyway, I just don't like the way that this dispenses, but I guess it definitely keeps air from really getting to the product, which is good, but it does work. It really did help to clear up the acne right away. Now, this basically just is salicylic acid. I could have probably just used my Paula's Choice, but I was like, I have it, I might as well use it. I might be passing this along to Stella. It does work really well for me on my breakouts, and poor girl is dealing with more breakouts than I am at this point. She, you know, like she's almost 12, so her hormones are just really starting to affect her skin. So I feel like this is pretty gentle on my skin. I kind of honestly just wanted to test it on me before passing it along to her, but I think this is going to be a great product for her. I just worry that she's going to like also be annoyed with this packaging. It's just kind of hard to get out like a small amount because when you push it down, like you get like a decent amount of the product. So if you needed to treat like multiple areas on your face, that'd be great. But if you just have like a pimple over here, like I found myself kind of like spreading it around like my like enlarged pore area just to get a little bit of salicylic acid in there and clear out the sebaceous filaments. But yeah, I think that might be worth checking out if you are breakout prone. So far, I've had good luck with that clearing things up pretty quickly. Like I couldn't really see many of like the little breakouts anymore this morning. They disappeared fairly quickly, so it's a good thing. That worked. All right. Also, again, I mentioned the moisture just being like sucked out of the air here because we have the heat on and it's going constantly. So I've really been making sure that my skin barrier is protected. I'm still using some of my exfoliants and stuff, but I can tell that they seem to be having a little bit more of a drying effect on my skin. So I've really upped my moisturizing game, so much so that I'm actually using an actual moisturizer in the morning now. Now this one I'm mostly still using at night. I'm using some lighter moisturizers for the morning. Maybe I'll talk about those next week. But this Alpyn Beauty Super Peptide and Ghostberry Barrier Repair Cream has been fabulous, you guys. And I haven't even had this that long, and I am almost done with this. That really says a lot for a moisturizer for me. I've been using this basically from here down to like my chest for a few months now, and it's so hydrating, so protective of the skin. I think it really helps both those of us that have like a really oily skin and we're just looking to kind of, you know, keep that oil from going into overdrive. But I think it also would be really helpful for those of you that just have like painfully dry skin because maybe you don't have a lot of oil production, right? This feels wonderful on the skin. It does absorb. It takes a few minutes for this to really sink into my skin. But I would think if you have a drier skin type, your skin would just like, it would want to eat this up. It works so well at repairing the barrier. If I've used my tretinoin a few too many days in a row, it immediately kind of cures that like dryness that can happen when I do that. It's just a wonderful product. I really like this one. There's also another moisturizer that I have in my bathroom from Alpyn that I also like, but I think out of the two moisturizers that I own from them, this one here is the best for the winter time. So if you're really struggling and you have the budget for this one, I think it's worth checking out for sure. And then the last thing, just because, you know, we had the power outage and I just had a lot more time to kind of sit around and quite frankly do a whole lot of nothing, I decided to mask a little bit more this week. So I busted out a few of my masks, and the one that really felt like the nicest, I think, on my skin is the Derma E Skin Restore Advanced Peptide and Flora Collagen Cryo Gel Mask. This has Edelweiss extract as well as plant stem cells. Basically, I was just using this on my face most evenings and, you know, just laying in bed and cuddling with the pugs and stuff. And I love the way that this hydrated my skin, but I also feel like it left my skin feeling really refreshed. And it just gave it a really nice glow. Masks, I don't think are a necessity in a skincare routine. I think they're a nice thing to like do for your skin, but I would say, you know, a good basic routine is gonna get you probably the results that you want or need, as long as you're using that routine consistently. But I think it's nice to just kind of add a few extras here and there, and masks are one of the way that I kind of splurge on skincare, I guess you could say, a little bit. I really like this one. Derma E is fairly affordable. This one I think came from Ulta. But yeah, this is a really nice one. And if you're in the market for a mask that is going to help your skin look very refined, give it a little burst of moisture and just make it look maybe a little bit more polished, this one was really nice for that. So big fan. So anyway, you guys, that's pretty much all that I have for this week. Let me know what you were loving over the course of last week in the comments down below. I hope you have a safe and happy weekend. Give this video a thumbs up if you found it helpful, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. Toodaloo.